One of the services offered by the university is called Endnote Web. Essentially, this is an online database of references, journals, books, etc. that you're likely to use over the course of your study. I'm advocating the use of this primarily because it's clear from speaking to people that Harvard referencing and the way in which you have to reference material in your essays can sometimes either be confusing, and even if it isn't confusing, it can be seen as being very time consuming. And getting it wrong means that you're likely to lose marks. So what we want to do is reduce the possibility of you losing any marks through human error. And one of the ways that we do that is by automating the process. So what I suggest you do is if you go to www.myendnoteweb.com, you will be met essentially with this screen. Do this from a university computer initially, and you will be able to sign up for an account. If you try to sign up for an account from outside the university network, then you will need to go through the university proxy. You will need to change some settings. Primarily because you need to be a member of the university to use the system, and the system knows when you're on the university network. But once you're registered, you can use this anywhere. It's a web interface through a browser. So once you've signed up, you'll be presented... let me just sign in, I'll show you. Takes a couple of seconds. You'll be presented with a window like this. The first thing to be of note is to get the most out of the system. Please look at the top right hand corner, and it says there are some plugins, and what you can do, depending on if you're on a Windows machine or on a Mac, you can download the Endnote plugin. And I strongly recommend that you do, because it integrates this system with your copy of Microsoft Word. The whole idea being that you have a database of references that you want to use in your essays, and you have a copy of Word in which you type your essays. So when you want to reference certain material, the system can do it for you. I'll show you how to do that in another video, but basically the whole point of this is to collect, organize, and format all the materials that you use for writing your assessments. At the moment, you can see on here I have no references at all. And one of the first things I would suggest that you do is sort out your core textbooks and sort out a filing structure that you're happy with. So under an Organize tab, I'm going to go and do something called Manage My Groups. And basically, Manage My Groups is the ability to create folders of different types of references. So I'm going to create a new group. Just allow this pop-up. Create a new group. It's asking me for a name, so in this case I will call it the marketing environment, based on the unit that you're doing at the moment, and that creates a folder called the marketing environment within my groups. The next thing that you notice is you can share this, so you can share each other's email addresses, and you can therefore share each other's databases of references, which you may find useful in the future. Next thing I want to do is actually put in a reference. So under the collect, I can do a new reference should I want, and this is a manual process, and some of you may not see any particular advantage to this, but you get a form that you fill in, and if you select a drop-down list, it will help you to fill in the right boxes depending on what it is that you are talking about. So in this case, say it's a book. Select book, and it's asking for the basic details: the title, the author, the year, series, publisher, etc. By putting it in the right places in here, you only have to put it in once, and it will be put into your essays in the correct Harvard format. The other one that's a bit more useful is online search. An online search, in this case, searches a limited list of databases, but the one I'm particularly interested in is UPortsmouth, because it knows we're in Portsmouth. And if I connect to that list, it's basically connecting directly to the University of Portsmouth Library. And I know, for example, that on the Level 1 Marketing or Principles of Marketing unit, you're using a book called Marketing by Baines, Phil and Page, which is one of the books that can be used as an example for Harvard. So if I type in Phil into the text box and I ask to search the author field, click on search, and it will bring me up a list of titles that have an author of Phil. I'm looking for Chris Phil in this case. And here are a number of different ones with Chris Phil in it, but there's the Baines, Paul, and I know that 2008, that's the marketing textbook that you're using. So in this case, I'm going to just tick that one, and I'm going to ask the system to add this reference to the marketing environment group. And what we can see there is under my groups, the marketing environment group now has a single reference in it. Now if I click on the title of the reference, in this case marketing, it will bring up the full details of the book. So I know it's Baines, Phil and Page, and it allows me to search on those authors. It gives me the title, the year, the city, the publisher, etc., without me having to type in anything. The beauty of that is I can integrate that into Word to create my reference list. As you can imagine, building up your references in that sort of format will help you in the future, and I'll show you how to do that in Microsoft Word next.